Good morning, Cyber Warriors. I'm going to sit there and talk about arrays. Little bits of elements of information that you can use that are indexed. Allows you to do a significant number of things within the bash shell. Let's get right to it. So the thing about strings is that it is literally just a string of text. You can use it as a string of text, but an array can be a series of text which is indexed, and you can call different parts of it. So think of it as kind of a small database that you can use. It's very, very simplified with just an index and content item. But I'm just going to go over what they are and how you can do a bunch of different things with an array instead of a string. So let's take a look first at the string. So string equal, this is a string. And you can echo your string right back. Boom. Now, if I wanted to just look at a word in there, the third word. So let's take a look at that. And what we're going to do is we're going to cast this into a squirrely brace, and then we're going to do 2. And the reason why it's a 2 is because the way these things are counted is you have 0, 1, 2, 3. Everything starts with 0. And you see that it doesn't actually tell you anything. So let's start with 0. Oops. 0. And it gives you the whole thing. So let's take a look at an array. And you set up an array slightly differently. Right? You put that in parentheses, and each word or element is in quotes. So this is a array. Yes, the A array is done deliberately. I'll get back to that. So we're just going to echo this back to the screen. And it only gives us the first one. That's because with an array, you have to always cast it if you're going to be looking at everything. And we can do this to show that we're only going to look at the first column, and that to look at the third one, because remember, we have 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. Where you can show all of them by doing the @ symbol, which gives everything. Now, one of the really cool things about an array is you can keep adding to it. You do plus equal, and we're going to say not a string. If we do that one again, and we see, boom, this is an array. This is a array, not a string. So is that little a versus and bothering you like it is me? We can fix that by specifically changing that field. Remember, it is field 0, 1, 2. So we're going to check that. So echo array 2. Yes. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to tell it array element 2 equal and. Now if we look at the whole thing, this is an array, not a string. So you can go in and replace anything as long as you know what its index number is. Let's see, what else can we do? We can actually add stuff to the front, which is a bit trickier, right? So adding stuff to the end is always easy, but adding stuff to the front or in front of or behind anything is a little more tricky, but you can absolutely do that. I'll show you how to prepend something in there. So we're going to do array equals hello world, and then we're going to add, just like we can do, we can change a variable by calling the variable itself. We're going to call the whole original variable back in after this part, right? So we're going to do in quotes and at end quote and in parentheses. What did I make a mistake here with? Oh boy, I see what I did. So up here in the beginning, I did a single quote, not a double quote. There we go. So now, did you catch what I did wrong here? That's right, you got to echo. Oof. Hello world, this is an array, not a string. One last thing that I wanted to show you was how you can get rid of any particular one single element as well. So we're going to do this by actually using unset. And that is for the array element 1. And then we're going to echo. And it says hello world is, I didn't do 1, I did 2. So let's actually fix this. Array 1 equals this. There we go. Hello. This is an array, not a string. So there's a bunch of different things you can do with that. There's a whole lot more I didn't really cover, but I wanted to keep this video fairly short. I wanted to show you different ways to view it, right? So we have the one where we're doing it like that, and then we can actually let's clear the screen to make it easier to see. All right, so we have this method, right? So print everything on a single line, but sometimes we want to separate those. Quite often we want to separate those. So what we could do is we can transform, and that's what TR stands for, a space. So it's a single quote around a space, and then another space, and we're going to give it a new line character, and it drops it all into individual lines. Now there's another way to do that. There's always more than one way to peel the potato, right? So there is the printf, where we're going to tell it the space, replace the space with /n, and then we're going to give it our array. And that needs to be a dollar sign, not a 4. End quote. Boom. So, two different ways to give us exactly the same view, a single line. these are easy ways to, and these are great for just simply printing to the screen. But what if you want to do something programmatically with the array? And for that, you probably want to use a for loop. Let's just show you a quick for loop for that, right? So let's do for W for word, because reasons. This is just a temporary variable in our array. Oops. Semicolon. You can do this multiple lines. I like to do it in a single line. It's fairly simple. So we're going to tell it to do something. And the thing that we're going to do with this is we're just going to echo to the screen. And it'll be $W because we told it W is our temporary variable. And then done. Boom. Now, instead of echo, what if you want to, for example, you had a list of usernames. You wanted to set the password. You'd be able to do that with the passwd command. Or if you wanted to change the password settings for it, the change CHAGE command would be able to be used. There's a number of different things that you can do. It allows you to step through and do even a series of things. You can echo it. You can do more than one single command. It's just a number of different things you want to do within the for loop. Anything in a for loop you can do it. Yeah, there you have it. Alrighty then, Cyber Warriors, what did we cover today? We covered arrays. The difference between an array and a string. We talked about how to append stuff, how to prepend stuff, how to change any individual indexed element in there, how to remove indexed elements, and along with how to print it and how to iterate through it with the for loop. As per always, I hope you learned something. Happy hunting, and I'll see you in the next video.